Welcome back. You're watching Market Sense. Time now to get a fundamental check on the equity markets. We've got Radhika Gupta, who's Director at Forefront Capital Management, now joining us here in the Mumbai studio. Radhika, to begin with, we had some positive news, if you will, come out of Delhi over the weekend. But somewhere the market seems to have discounted that, or rather dismissed that positive news. So would you say that the markets are somewhere preparing for a lot more negatives to come into play before you see anything, any sort of breakout?
I think there are two things. One is undoubtedly the news is very, very positive. So I don't think there's any dispute about that. My feeling is that the markets have priced in much of this news about GAR at least over the last 2 months because ever since a change in the finance ministry was announced on the hope of reforms primarily around GAR, and there was some talk on this, there was a pickup we saw in the equity markets and it was not driven by fundamentals. So I think much of GAR was priced in. And yes, with Colgate coming on our heels, some of that negative news continues to be priced in the, continues to be what the market is looking at.
Radhika, how would you read into the auto sector? We have the auto sales numbers also, which just came out. It's been a bit of a mixed bag, but largely disappointing. What would be your view on the space?
I think autos is, among the spaces one can buy in, I think autos is still a reasonable investment opportunity. I mean, if you look outside the pharma and FMCG pack and believe in a strong domestic consumption story, then autos is one of the strongest stories. I think two-wheelers is a better segment today than a four-wheeler segment. And I think you'll see a lot of that domestic growth in the two-wheeler names. So Hero, Honda, less, Bajaj Auto more. TVS to a certain extent.
Right. How about Maruti, Radhika? How are you viewing that stock?
In the short term, I think there will be turbulence around Maruti. In the long term, I think Manesar is a very, very small part of the promise that something like Maruti has. I think Maruti as a business has been a very, very consistent business. I think that story doesn't change 2 years or 5 years hence. And I would look to buy Maruti actually. I think Maruti is a great value buy, in times like this.
If we talk about the mid-cap space, the month of August has been so terrible given the kind of underperformance that we've seen. Do you think that now, perhaps for the month of September, it's time for the broader markets to bask in the limelight, or you'd still stay away?
I'd still stay away from the broader markets right now. Look, we're still in a fairly turbulent period. And as far as valuations are concerned, maybe mid-cap valuations moderately better than large-cap valuations. But the kind of issues some of these mid-cap companies have in terms of cash on their books, interest, sustainable margins, continue to be there. So with the exception of a few good quality mid-cap names, primarily in the FMCG space, I think it's time to wait for mid-caps to see the market turn a little bit and then enter mid-caps.
Are there any specific stocks that you'd recommend?
In the mid-cap space in particular, we like Marico, we like Godrej, we like Dabur. A lot of people talk about playing the FMCG space, and our view is that rather than looking at a large-cap name like ITC or HUL, where a lot of the upside is sort of priced into the valuations, this is the next generation of large caps. So I think that's a very, very interesting space to look at. I think if you're looking at a long-term value buy, a very, contrarian long-term value buy, then metals and mining would be one.
And there has been a bit of positive news that has just come in. The Supreme Court has lifted the ban on iron ore mining in Karnataka. So most of these stocks are holding up very smartly. Are there any select picks that you'd have in the sector?
I think in this space, I think Hindalco is the one that we've always looked at as a leader in this space. JSW Steel to a smaller extent. But given the kind of, lashing these guys have seen, very, very good buys for a very long-term holding.
What's your view, Radhika, on the IT pack? Because we did have a bit of news with respect to Infosys that there has been another rejig when it comes to the top management. Would you stick with the frontliners or dabble with some of the mid-cap names as well?
I think IT is actually one of the sectors that's sort of very easy to break down given what we've seen in the last 2 years, and take a very stock-specific approach. There's Infosys, which really has to show remarkable results to get back on track and has a lot of management issues. And then there's TCS, which is a clean, solid performer in the IT space. So if I were to do IT, I would stick to TCS and avoid an Infy and Wipro. It's really a very stock-specific rather than a sector-level bet.
With respect to the Telecom Pact, the general view is that, given that the kind of environment uncertainty that has been there, regulatory environment uncertainty, that this is likely to continue. The sector is going to see a bit of a sluggish move. Are you seeing a recovery, and would you buy into names like Bharti and Idea?
Again, I think telecom is one of those long-term stories where if you believe, that telecom is going to have a recovery, and yes, the sector needs some consolidation, but the fact is a leader will emerge in the sector. I think Bharti is still a good bet to play. You're not only betting on Indian telecom, you're also betting on what happens to Bharti's play in Africa, in African telecom. And I think that is at a point where maybe Indian telecom was 10 years ago. So while I wouldn't touch an Arcom or an Idea, I think Bharti is a very interesting confluence of telecom plays to make.
And lastly, Radhika, a quick word on the real estate pact. Do you believe there's a lot more stress that these companies are going to face before you'd like to buy into these counters?
With real estate, I think we advise investors, large and small, to hold the physical asset and not look at holding real estate companies. There are very few real estate companies for all the different issues that have actually delivered value to the investor despite land prices appreciating. There's a lot of pain ahead because of the interest burden. And even when that pain subsides, I think you're better off buying underlying land than buying real estate companies.
Radhika, thanks very much for taking the time out and giving us your overall fundamental view on the Indian markets and certain sectors that we should watch out for.